Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have the 33 edition of the questions and answers. Can you imagine? 33 episode of questions and answers. And in this video we have many interesting questions, so we'll go one by one. So let's roll the intro and go straight to these questions. We are starting now the journey. We are on the Südkreuz, Berlin, and we are waiting for the train to Rostock. The first question is from Samprit123. If there is Parivartana, are they all changing their place or only one planet is changing the place? So the Parivartana or exchange of the signs happens when the two planets are in each other's signs or rashis. So this occurs, for example, if a sun is in the Virgo, which is the sign of Mercury, and Mercury is in Leo, which is the sign of the sun. This is probably one of the most frequently asked questions, and this is also one of the most difficult things to understand, because this yoga represents very dynamic process, which is also working with the Dasha system, with the timing. So it has many components to it. The questions would be, are these planets really changing signs, or are we doing that only to understand the process of what's going on? Because that will have a big influence, for example, on the drishti. Is the aspect or the drishti changing? For example, in the last lecture of Pandit Sanjay Rath, we have learned that when the sign or house is in the Parivartana, then to understand its results, we should analyze the aspects on the other house, not on the original, but on the Parivartana house. For example, this was related to the element from the Arudha Lagna, which is showing the gains or income or wealth. So if this house is in the Parivartana, we should take the other one. So now we see that the drishti on the point of Parivartana is changing and should be taken into account, otherwise you will commit a mistake. There are some exceptions, a more advanced way to interpret how the Parivartana works, but the standard one would be that the planets in the Parivartana, they are staying in the same position, and the signs which are involved and also the planets which are conjoined those planets are basically changing. So that is the whole thing to it, which was repeated already many times on the write-ups and on the YouTube and so on. And the Parivartana basically means that there is some change on transformation from one state to the other. So one state is represented by one yoga, the planets involved, the other planet involved will show the other state or the other situation or occurrence or whatever is shown by these planets. Of course, we have different types of Parivartana. We have the standard one, we have also the Karaka, the Nakshatra and the Navamsha. There are also the good and the bad. The bad, which is called the Dainya, is when one part or one periphery of this Parivartana is involved in the Dushtana house. This division is coming from the Faldipika. This is the text from Mantreshvara. This is in the 6th chapter and 32 shloka. He is dividing the Parivartanas into the Maha, Dainya and Kala. Maha is between the Kendra houses, the Dainya is involving Dushtana, and Kala, which is showing the war or conflict, is when the third house is involved. We have also a question about the remedy for the Parivartana, which is involving one Dushtana house. So we'll be answering that in that specific answer to that question. Next question is from Dr. Kalyan R. How to rectify the delayed marriage? We also need to differentiate between the delayed marriage and also marriage on time but late. For example, if Saturn is giving the marriage, it will be around 35 years of age, and also now in current days we could say that the marriage is delayed because of the disappointment with the traditional system. So the marriage and the children, young people don't want to go into these institutions, even no dating, no sex life. So this is getting also this big pillar of society now is going into some more research by young people. When we are talking about the delayed marriage, it can be caused by, or it can be caused on the different level. It could be Panchanga or Karaka, could be related to the lordship, to the Karakas, or even to the Varga, to the Navamsha chart. So what is very important is to properly find the dosha and then the remedy. So that would be the very philosophical but also correct essential answer to this question. And I have found, and also I was taught to specifically pay attention to the 9th and 12th from Venus, because that is the past, or what is happening before the marriage. If there is some dosha, even related to the lords, then definitely that is hampering or blocking the marriage. So you need to find the dosha related to these houses or lords, and then to provide the remedy. So this is how you are remedying the delay related to the marriage. Next question is from Shankar Bupiri. How to understand the Saturn retrograde aspecting Venus? What would be the impact on the Venus? This is also a nice example how the traditional teaching is different or more advanced, more complex than the just combining the two archetypes based on the psychology. This is related to this Venus-Saturn. So you would say, oh, Venus is relationship, Saturn is about delay. You cannot attain something, or there is some suffering, there is some sadness related to it. And we will combine these two archetypes of a Venus and Saturn relationship and sadness, and we will build some story. But based on the tradition, this is more complex, and in fact it's quite reverse. Yoga, Venus and Saturn can give many desires or intense desires, and this can lead to many relationships. Of course, Saturn being the Karaka for Dushtana houses 6, 8 and 12, this would give similar effects as if we combine the 7th house to the Dushtana lords, the 6, 8 or 12. Then, based on the rest of the chart, on Upapada and even the 7th house yoga, we need to differentiate between those possible things, because the Saturn can give problems with children. So first of all, what kind or what areas of relationship it will hit, and the other thing would be what the Saturn means. Is it delay? Is it showing the health issues? Or is it giving a coldness? For example, very often if Saturn has some problematic placement from the Upapada or 2nd from Upapada, then this will give some problems related to a coldness in the relationship. And also based on the same Upapada, you can predict if that coldness will afflict the marriage or if the marriage will survive. And for the career life, this yoga of Venus and Saturn can give the entrepreneurship, and we already discussed this in one of the most popular videos in this year on this channel. Okay guys, if you like this video so far, please don't forget to click the thumbs up, it really helps the channel. And if you like to see similar videos in the future, then please subscribe with the bell notification on. And if you like to join the free Discord Vedic community, then there will be also the link in the description. And now let's go back to the video. This question is from the Les CD. How to understand the effect of the empty Bava? As we already discussed, the house will indicate area, the sign will show what is the vibe or nature or place related to those areas, and the Lord will control the interaction and the people related to that area of life. So house also is very important to show the attitude and what is happening before the interaction with the people in the context of that specific part of your life. Bhava means existence, duration, the emotion, and Bha is very much related to the space and light, and Va is all about the emotion. Therefore, this combination of these two things are pointing at, on one side, to the resources, which is controlled by the Aditya. Adityas are providing the resources for the houses, for science, and Va is related to that attitude part, which has to do with emotions, because the Va is very much related to the Jala Tattva, the watery element. If the house, if the Bava is empty, then the drishti or aspect on the house will control the attitude, and the lordship will control both attitude and also the interaction, where the fruits of this area will be also related to the Lord. But we could say that without any planet, the empty house can show that the things in lives are going more naturally, because the Lord will always show some form of the intervention, external intervention, and based on that, especially if it's related to the Upachaya Lord, it may show that we are not following the natural course of things, we are trying to intervene with the nature, right? Intervene with the natural course of things. Next question is from Jia Shiban. If there is a Parivartana between the 9th and the 11th Lord, how to understand this exactly, and should then one wear the gemstone of the 11th Lord? So when we talk about the Parivartana of the Lords, if it's good or bad, and then when we are talking about the houses like 11, then we need to take into account if it's benefic or malefic, because the 11th, for a movable sign, it can be a Badaka house, and this will play a big role because the benefic will try to remove the Badaka and the malefic will trigger the Badaka even more, so then this will be the bad part of this Parivartana. The similar things occurs with the benefic or malefic alone without knowledge about the lordship and the house placement. For example, if you have malefic which is exalted in the Dushtana, then if it's lord in Kendra, this may not be so great. But if that is not lord in Kendra, then we want to have malefics in Kendra exalted and malefics in Dushtana weak. Without full knowledge of what's going on, benefic, malefic, what kind of house this is, it's hard to predict. So when we are talking about 9th and 11th, especially houses Parivartana, then it will play a crucial role if those are benefics or malefics. Yoga 9th and 11th Parivartana, according to Brihatparashara Horashastra, it is showing that one is basically friend or getting some blessing from some form of authority, a guru or boss, or people who are in charge. It could also be knowledgeable people or institution, experts, and so on. In the case of this Dainya or Parivartanas which are including the bad house, what we want to do is to strengthen the good house. So if we have a 9th and 11th lordship, then the planet in the 9th house, which would be 11th lord, would naturally be chosen for a gem or a mantra and so on. But this must be good yoga, right? And the 9th and 11th, these two are very sensitive houses when it comes to benefic, malefic. They can really give very opposite, very different results depending if the planet is benefic or malefic. Next question is from Dr. Gaurav Singhal. What is the yoga for being the head of educational institution? And now when it comes to this question about head of an institution, we need to remember that we need to mix things, right? So if you have a director of academical institution, then you basically need to connect the yogas related to being director or being in the board, so that we have this Raja Yoga. And also we need to connect the academia, right? So for example, you have yogas like Arudha related to Jupiter, or for the director you have some Simhasana Yoga, so 10th Lord in the Lagna or in the 2nd house, or you have some form of different Raja Yoga, like a Kendra Kona, or a Viparit Raja Yoga, or this could be a Malefics in 3rd and 6th, very strong from Arudha Lagna, and so on. What are the Raja Yogas according to Shastra? These are specific combinations which are granting the success, influence, status, and so on. And what is interesting, this phrase Raja Yoga can also be meaning the spiritual power, spiritual influence. Therefore, we have this word Maharaj, which is related to very developed spiritually person. So Raja Yoga can mean also some kind of siddhi or perfection in the yoga. We have 4 yogas: Karma, Raja, Bhakti, and Jnana Yoga. So Raja is also one form of the yoga. This is also quite different from the Dana yogas, which are giving or blessing with the wealth, and different from the Raja Sambandha yoga, which are giving us the blessing with knowing people with the influence. The next question is from Gabriela Deukaran. What if the planet is joining Marana Karakastana? Is it the one who is joining taking the brunt of the dosha of Marana Karakastana? We'll be answering that in a moment. But first, what is the Marana Karakastana? We have already recorded the whole video about it, so if you want to watch this, then please consider watching here. This concept is coming from Jataka Parijata from author Vaidyanand Dikshita in the Kala Chakra chapter 34 and 36 shloka. And although in the Rasi chart the Marana Karakasana show other people sacrificing the time, energy and resources for us, if it's happening in the Varga, then it's really the depleting, and we can really talk about the death of the resources or even the death directly. The remedy for Marana Karakasana would be the Bava Karaka of the house in which the planet is placed. For example, for Venus in 6th, the Karaka is Mars, so you can use the Pratyati Devata of Mars and use this as a remedy, use this mantra for take this planet out of the Marana Karakastana. Now the position for Sun, this is the 12th house. For the Moon, this is the 8th house. For Mars, this is the 7th house. For the Mercury, it's the 4th and 7th. For Jupiter, it's in the 3rd house. For Venus, it's 6th. For Saturn, first house, for Rahu 9th, and for Ketu it's the 4th house. Important factor, if the planet is strong, like exalted or an own sign, then we say that this Marana Karakastana is overcome by the strength of the planet. We are also talking about another type of Marana Karakastana when we are seeing the planets from Atma Karaka, then there is a little bit different calculation. For example, if Rahu is Atma Karaka, then we are seeing that all planets, Arudas, the Karakas in the 9th from Atma Karaka will be somewhat rejected by the soul, because the Rahu has the Marana Karakastana in the 9th house. Now to give the simple and straightforward answer, yes, the planet joining the Marana Karakastana is taking the brunt of it, and this was confirmed in the lecture by Pandit Sanjay Rath. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you find this video interesting and informative. If you do, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching till the end and being here with me on this channel. And if you'd like to have your personalized consultation, then hit me up. You can find the email in the description. Thanks for watching till the end and being here with me on this channel. And if you'd like to catch similar video to this one, please consider watching this one.